So I came across you on Twitter, like many other people in crypto, I'm sure, where there's this infamous account called Plan B, talking about Bitcoin, the stock to flow model, which I think a lot of people trade, looks towards, which we can get into what the stock to flow model actually means. But then when I started following Plan B, I quickly came across your account, Plan C. And being a Celsius fanboy, I think it was obvious to me that Plan C might even be more powerful than Plan B. But maybe you can tell us from the horse's mouth, what's the difference between Plan B and Plan C for Plan C himself?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's funny. I don't know. I'm trying to remember even how I decided to have that name, but yeah, I just one day clicked or something. But it's I'm glad you found me somewhat on the journey through Plan B because there's a lot of people that follow him. So if yeah, that's a good path to association. But yeah, no, I would say like the different like it just for me anyways, like yeah, this C was a little bit of a play on Celsius because once I found Celsius, I really started to dive into it and I started to like a lot of things clicked for me and how big this project could be. And actually, yeah, I made my account at the time. It was 1 trillion sell. Um, Plan B has his account. I think it's like 100 trillion USD or something. So I jokingly put
Mm,
1 trillion sell.
mm,
But there's more behind that. I do believe Celsius, the company, can be a behemoth. Like I do think that it can be a really significant company over the long term, and who knows where its market cap could be one day.
mm.
And yeah, so that was part of that. But I would say like the different plans, I guess you could go through. I could go through like Plan A, I guess, is what most of the people are in. Whatever 90+% of the population still on Plan A, which to me would be just holding government fiat, like just holding fiat in the banks
Mm.
and earning essentially no interest, and in some places of the world even a negative interest rate potentially. But yeah, that would be Plan A, right? You're just you're in mostly cash and maybe you're holding
Mm.
some stocks or whatever, like the traditional model. Plan B would be like you talked about, like the Plan B would be more, I guess, what the traditional idea would be, just like holding Bitcoin, custodying your own wallets, and yeah, you're not earning any interest, and you're basically not your keys, not your coins kind of idea, where you might just hold Bitcoin.
Mm.
You're not earning that yield though. For me, Plan C, like Plan B is still very popular and it's still a good way to go, but Plan C for me is more about taking advantage of everything, right? Looking at, okay, it's not just maybe this market is not just about Bitcoin. There are probably some other opportunities here. So what I've done myself is I've looked at a lot of hedge funds that are crypto hedge funds focused, and I've kind of said, okay, what are they looking at as the major theses, like the macro theses for crypto, and I've seen kind of what they've identified, and then I kind of myself thought about it quite a bit, and
Mm.
yeah, looking at like the kind of open finance category, or the thesis of open finance, which encompasses a lot, and then you have your Web3, vision or whatever you call it, where you have this platform that's probably going to be very significant, that a lot of things are going to get built on top of, and then you
Mm.
have your state-free store of value, which Bitcoin is, in my opinion, already kind of won that category most likely. ETH is probably the only competitor at currently, I believe.
Mm.
Um, so you have different major theses. So for me, like Plan C would be identifying the overall trends and the overall category leaders, and then putting those somewhere where you can earn a yield also. So you're not only trying to be a little bit more, like you're not only trying to diversify slightly where you're not just betting on only Bitcoin, you're kind of looking at, okay, what are the potential other huge opportunities, identifying those, and then looking where you can safely earn a yield. And for me, Celsius is the safest place still, I've identified, where you can
Mm.
earn a meaningful yield on a variety of coins, and they do also somewhat filter out a lot of the scams. Like they're very
Mm.
selective on what they put on the platform. Usually it's
Yeah.
only coins, or it's only coins they can earn a yield on, right? So because of that, it does filter out a lot, because it's got to be coins that have like an institutional demand or have a way of earning
Mm.
yield. So and yeah, and also they do a lot of auditing of the code, and so there's a level of
Mm.
filtering there where we can be a
Yeah.
little more confident. It doesn't mean everything on the app of Celsius is a good investment. It
Yeah.
just means that you're less likely to get a scam or a rug pull or something happen, So yeah, there's lots of there's a range of interest rates on Celsius. But for me, Plan C is about earning a yield, earning that passive income, compounding your interest. And on top of that, you're getting the growth of the assets at the same time. So it's kind of like the best of everything, you could say.
Mm.
But anyways, it's a long answer, but that's kind of the reason behind Plan C. It's a play on Celsius, but it's also a play on that kind of earning a yield on assets at the same time as getting the upside.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's that's actually a point about Celsius, a benefit of Celsius that is not much talked about. That they work as a filter, as a screening layer from all these crazy crypto projects that pop up everywhere. Take it from someone who's been liquidity mining for quite some time, and sometimes you see on these different DEXs and AMMs, you see these insane rewards that they promise only to get rock pulls in a month or two. I call it an advanced form of Ponzi scheme, where the people at the top who started out typically a new cryptocurrency that promises all these different rewards, it's only gonna take a month or two until it tanks in price, and then you end up holding the bag. You won't experience that when you use Celsius. Like they have screened the project, they stand behind these projects that you as a user of the Celsius app and now web app also are able to deposit coins to. So
Yeah,
that's actually, yeah.
yeah, no, it's something where like yeah, you're not guaranteed like you choose any of the investments on the app, like they're going to do well. Like lots of them couldn't like or might not do well, but you at least like there's a really high probability. Yeah, like you said, you're not going to get like straight up scammed. Which I mean, if you
Mhm.
look at the overall crypto space, like you said, it's a bit of a minefield, right? You have like I don't know upwards of 11,000 cryptos. I know those are just like the ones on CoinMarketCap and a lot of those are obviously not serious even investments, but still even in the top 1,000 or top 500 or whatever you want to look at,
Yeah.
there's a ton that yeah are just they're just kind of borderline scams. And
Mhm.
even some of the higher caps are, in my opinion, can be borderline scams,
Mhm.
such as an EOS. But
Yeah.
uh,
We can get
but
into
yeah,
that later. Before,
yeah, for sure.
for people, for perspective, for people, we talked offline about EOS a
Yeah,
little bit, but we can get back to that in a minute.
yeah, for
But
sure,
maybe
definitely.